Either she or he fired the trigger in some kind of a struggle over the pistol. And this is kind of what the case comes down to. Was it an accident or was it a matter of self-defense?
Or was it murder, like prosecutors have alleged here? That's the third option here in this case. She was 21. She sees a hit-and-run accident, follows the guy who's leaving, then confronts him. She's got a gun. She said it was in her hand, and he squeezed the trigger. How does that work? We'll see. We'll see. All right. Anyway, this case has had a lot of drama inside the courtroom involving the original judge in the case. Kelly Craft takes a look.
Monday morning, November 14th, 2022. All parties are present in a Clayton County courtroom for the first day of jury selection in Georgia versus Hannah Payne, except for Hannah Payne's defense attorney, Matthew Tucker.
Miss Payne, what do you know?
He was admitted into the hospital Saturday morning with a stroke, and that he's okay to be mine, but other than that, I'm not.
Matthew Tucker has represented Hannah since her May 2019 arrest in the shooting death of Kenneth Herring, and she is facing multiple charges, including malice murder. Judge Shanna Rooks Malone was visibly angered by Tucker's absence as she addressed the court.
We're ready to start a trial today, and we've not heard anything. Do you have contact information for anybody in his office?
I have his office direct number.
Okay. Do you have his cell number?
I do.
Can you write it on a piece of paper and provide it to me? You can provide it to my staff attorney.
Tucker was already in hot water with the trial judge after he was late for a motions hearing on the previous week.
Mr. Tucker, I had an email that you were going to be delayed because you were in another county, but I didn't receive a conflict notice.
I didn't expect a conflict. I was there at 8 a.m. this morning to enter a plea. They had some issues with the inmates. They asked me to come back at 1. I was there at 1. It just took longer than we expected, and I got here as quick as I could, Your Honor.
After Judge Malone confirmed Tucker was hospitalized, she returned to the courtroom and slammed him from the bench.
He had a stroke. So I cannot go forward with the trial today because Ms. Payne is not represented. But what I will tell you, Ms. Payne, is you need to seriously seek new counsel. I am going to find that Mr. Tucker is in contempt of court.
Judge Malone also said she was going to file a grievance against Tucker with the State Bar of Georgia, stating he was doing a disservice in Hannah Payne's case. Tucker spoke with local station WSB from his hospital bed after the judge's admonitions.
It is not a disservice. We've been waiting for this trial for 3 years.
He later filed a motion asking for Judge Malone to be removed from the case, arguing that her comments revealed her bias against his client and her prejudice in the case. In May 2023, Judge Jewel Scott was assigned to preside over Hannah Payne's murder trial.
Unbelievable developments. Well, in front of a new judge now. The trial has begun. Day 1 of jury selection. Court TV legal correspondent Chanley Painter has the latest for us tonight.
Vinny, jury selection got underway earlier today, nearly 4.5 years after prosecutors say then 21-year-old Hannah Payne shot and killed 62-year-old Kenneth Herring. The question is, was the shooting malice murder, or was it something else?
Well, it's a little bit more than that, and I can't really go into the details of it.
Well, the jurors who will decide that answer are actively being questioned in panels of 15 inside the Clayton County Courthouse after about 600 were summoned for this trial. Each of these panels take about 2 hours, with the attorneys asking questions to the group and individually screening jurors for hardship, publicity, and impartiality. Payne's defense attorney says his client is feeling confident.
She's comfortable. She's ready to get this over with. She is comfortable with our defense, and she's ready to get it going. But, you know, anxiety, and she's young. She's still 25, 26, and she's still young, although she had to grow up pretty quick because of this. And she's just ready to go, and she can see past the trial now. So I think that's a start of trying to get closure, gets, you know, the process of this over with.
Also today, Vinny, the defendant turned down a plea offer from prosecutors for a life sentence with the possibility of parole. So that means this trial will move forward as soon as a jury is selected and will likely go into next week. For now, I'll send it back to you.
All right, let's bring in our tank. Wow. A lot of things to talk about here. You know, we could talk about a 21-year-old chasing down someone in a hit and run after being told not to do it by the 911 operator and then confronting him, and then he ends up getting shot. We could talk about that. We could talk about the plea offer today, or we could talk about the lawyer who's held in contempt for having a stroke and not showing up in court. Darnell, your choice.
Well, I think I'm going to start with the fact that if I was Al Wunsch, I would say the client watching all this happening must have been in pain. Get it, Al? Hannah Payne? Al, I know you're proud of me, Al, with that one.
No, I'm not proud. In fact, I hope that the signal gets cut from Antigua, wherever the heck you are.
So Vinny, the problem here is that this judge was absolutely upset with this lawyer, and the lawyer was right to file a motion to recuse her because that type of stuff just kind of spills over. And then you're playing the sort of, as a lawyer, you're trying to duck the judge's shots, and you're trying to ingratiate the judge because you want that to flow over to your client. That's a relationship you can't repair. So I was glad that he did the motion to recuse and she got out the way. Judge might have been right. This woman's sitting here with no lawyer, but then the guy had a stroke, and the judge still said, "I'm gonna file a grievance against him." So I think that that's a good place to start, and I'm glad the judge moved out the way.
Yeah, you cannot hold a lawyer in contempt for not showing up because they had a stroke. You can't do that. There's something terribly wrong with that. That judge is out. New judge is in charge. Jennifer Brandt, let's talk about this life with the possibility of parole as a plea offer, which was turned down by this defendant. This is Georgia. This is malice murder or felony murder, either one of them. Life without parole. Very strong possibility. Your thoughts about this plea offer? Is it fair? Do you think she has any defense here? She followed him.
Yeah, well, apparently she does have a defense, Vinny, because I don't think she would have turned down any offer without a defense. I think maybe she's going to say that there was some kind of struggle. I mean, we understand that she was advised not to follow him and not to make a citizen's arrest or try to. But we don't know what happened when she actually got there and she did pursue him. And I guess from her point of view, she was trying to do the right thing. She was trying to protect society against this person who had, a hit and run type accident. So we'll see what she has to say. Just getting back to the lawyer issue, I mean, what a big distraction for the whole case. I mean, just delaying things and having judges angry. I mean, just an unnecessary distraction all the way around.
Yeah, you got to take a step back and be human at a certain point and understand things. I know you're the judge. I know it's really bad when they don't show up, but Well,
she was obviously upset with him for prior appearance that he was late.
And then if he left that courthouse and went over here, that judge would be. I mean, it is what it is. And I know he didn't file the conflict papers that he was supposed to file, but my goodness. They weren't ready at 8 a.m. when it was scheduled. Let's do this, Al. She also suspected that he was drunk because I guess she did see and hear him before he got in his car and left the scene. Now, my understanding is what prosecutors will say, and I believe is the truth, is that he was having a diabetic episode. And Al, I'm type 1 diabetic. I know what those episodes can be like. If you have a low blood sugar, you don't make sense. You could be short-tempered. You are thinking about one thing and one thing only, which is trying desperately to get help. But sometimes when you're in that state, you don't even know how to help yourself. You just know you need help. So what part will that play in all this, in that if it turns out that she was mistakenly thought that he was drunk when he was in a medical situation where he needed help?
Well, first of all, you're right. A diabetic can even emit from his breath something that almost seems like alcohol as a result of the fact that the condition. And it will promote slurring of your words, and you would be having a problem balancing and everything along those lines. So I don't think, I mean, I'm sure that the autopsy report's going to show whether or not he was indeed having an attack at the time, but I don't even think it matters. You have no right to confront someone on drunk driving with a gun. I mean, it's insane, and you know, it sounds. And this is Georgia, which is we had a case not too long ago in Georgia where they said some guy was prowling around houses, and then they started chasing him, and then they shot him. Okay, it seems a little ironic that the situation here is almost similar. Who takes off on a situation with regards to a hit-and-run accident and then confronts them with a gun? It's insane. Okay, I hope she gets found guilty. I hope they throw away the key. This is an absolute ridiculous
in Georgia,
situation.
You're looking at life without the possibility of parole. Al Wunsch, Darnell Cross, and Jennifer Brandt staying with us. Up next.